Hello all, welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'll be explaining you about various tests that should be done on stones to determine various physical properties of stones. So we have around 10 tests that should be done on stones for it to whether qualify it as a good building material or not. So we have acid test, attrition test, crushing test, crystallization test, freezing and thawing test, hardness test, impact test, microscopic test, Smith test, and last one is water absorption test. So now in this video, let's get into detail about each test and how to perform each test. And also, let's see step-by-step procedure of doing the test. First one is the acid test. So for acid test, what we have to do is you have to take a sample of the stone, means from the bigger stone, just take out a small sample of the stone. Around 50 to 100 grams, means see that the weight of the stone is in between 50 to 100 grams or not greater than 100 grams. Okay, and then this stone sample whatever you're taking out, which is around 100 grams, it is then placed in HCl, hydrochloric acid, and it is left for 7 days. So what you are doing is you're taking 100 grams of stone sample and then you're placing it in hydrochloric acid and you are leaving it for 7 days. And also remember that you have to disturb the stone sample at regular intervals, like you have to just disturb you have to keep disturbing the sample once in a day, like that. So after 7 days of your stone sample submerged in HCl, you take out after 7 days. If the edges of the stone are still sharp, I mean, the edges are not broken down or if they are not decay, then we can say that this stone is good in resisting acid attacks. Okay, but if the edges are broken and also if you see some powder formation on the surface of the stone sample, whatever you have taken, it means that there is presence of calcium carbonate and this is one of the reason for stone decaying. Okay, and mostly this acid test is done when you are using sandstone in your construction. So you can see in the diagram, a powdery patch like formation is there on the rock surface or the stone surface. So that shouldn't happen. Second one is the attrition test. So attrition test is used for determining the percentage of wear and tear of stones. So for this attrition test, what we do is, and remember this attrition test is used when you're using your stones in pavements, okay, in road construction, which is one of the application of using stones, right? So to determine the percentage of wear of stones, means the wearing and tearing action, the abrasive effect, we use this attrition test, and the equipment used is Dewal's attrition testing machine. So what we do is take around 5 kg of stone sample, and see that the whatever stones you are taking in this 5 kg total sample, see that the sizes of the stone is around 60 mm. I'm repeating, the total weight of the sample to be taken is 5 kg and the size of the stones in this sample should be around 60 mm approximately. And what you do is, I'll show you the diagram. Yeah, if you see you can see here in the Devals, this one. So you can see here, we have two cylinders. So whatever 5 kg of sample you have taken, put 2.5 kg in one cylinder and 2.5 kg in another cylinder. Okay, and then we have steel balls given to us. We have spherical steel balls and put around 6 steel balls in one cylinder and another 6 balls in another cylinder. So now see, in this Dewal's attrition testing machine, we are having two cylinders. So almost the length of cylinder is around 340 mm, means 34 centimeters, and the dia is around 20 centimeters. So in each cylinder now we have 2.5 kg of stone sample and 6 spherical steel balls. Similarly in the second cylinder. Now what you do is set this entire setup for rotation. So here you have an on off button. So once you press the start button, what will happen means these cylinders, you can see they keep rotating along the horizontal axis. So during rotation, what is happening, your stone sample and the steel balls will rub one over each other. Remember, this rotation must be around 5 hours. So 5 hours you have to continuously keep it for rotation. And after 5 hours of rotation, take out the sample from the cylinders. So imagine after 5 hours of rotation, almost will become a powdered form. So whatever the sample you are taking from both the cylinders, take it out and then sieve it through a 1.5 mm sieve. So you can see like this, for stones or aggregates you have a sieve like this, bigger size sieve, whose sieve size is around 1.5 mm. So what you do is you pour the the powdered sample into the 1.5 mm sieve and then sieve it. So whatever, after sieving, what will happen? Some material will be left over on the sieve, correct? Some material will pass out and some will be left over on the sieve. So whatever is left over on the sieve, take its weight. So hence percentage wear will be equal to whatever is left over on the sieve by initial weight. What was initial weight? 5 kg into 100. Okay, that is percentage wearing and tearing formula, and this is the test we have to do. Next comes crushing test. So in this test we are determining the resistance of the stone towards compressive loading. So what we have to do is we take the help of compressive testing machine, and what you have to do is the stone sample whichever you are taking, it should be in the shape of a cube. You know a cube, right? So in that cube also all your dimensions must be equal. So the size of the stone will be around 40 mm into 40 mm into 40 mm. Then you neatly cut the sizes of the stone sample, the cube, dress it properly and see that it is exactly looking like a cube. Then take a minimum of 3 specimens. We require minimum of 3 cubes, right, for determining the strength. We can't test on only one cube and say this is the compressive strength or crushing strength. We take 3 samples and then we take the average of it. Now what you do is, before placing this cube into the compressive testing machine, prior to it, this 3 specimens whatever you are taking, they must be immersed in water for 72 hours. Means 3 hours before, 3 days before only you have to submerge the stone samples in water and then take it out after 3 days and then put it under compressive testing machine. And just imagine after 3 days of complete saturation, complete submersion, they are coming out, the stone samples. So once it comes out, we don't place directly under the plates of the compressor testing machine. So just cover it with plaster of Paris or any wood and then try to apply load. So what will happen? At some load, your stone specimen will fail. Note that load, and your compressive strength is given by the formula load whichever you observe in the compressive testing machine by area of the cube. That gives you the crushing strength or compressive strength. Next is 4:1 crystallization test. What is this crystallization test? So in this, what is happening is, so take at least 4 cubes of stone. Means out of the stone whichever you are using in your construction, take out 4 samples from it. And remember, they also must be in cube size as we have taken for our crushing test. Okay. So take 4 cubes of stone and then what you do is you weight them for, so same as we have done for compressive strength test. Same, you just saturate the sample for 72 hours, means for 3 days in water, and then you take it out and then you dry the samples. Okay. So next, what we have to do is, in this crystallization test, immerse this 4 cubes of stone sample which were priorly submerged in water for 3 days and then they were dried. Those 4 cubes of sample, you place them in sodium sulfate solution, okay, for 2 hours. So after immersing these 4 cubes of stone sample in sodium sulfate for 2 hours, then take it out and dry those samples at 100 degrees centigrade. So once you dry them at 100 degrees centigrade, take the weight. So initially, before placing it in the sodium sulfate solution, you will take the weight of the 4 samples. Then after drying at 100 degrees centigrade, you will take the weight. So just try to note the difference between the two weights. Say for example, before immersing in sodium sulfate solution, if the weights were respectively W1 of the first sample, then W1 of second sample, W1 of third sample and W1 of fourth sample, then once you take it out and dry at 100 degrees centigrade, again you will take the weight. So that will be W2 of first sample, W2 of second sample, W2 of third sample, and W2 of fourth sample. Now try to observe the difference, means observe the difference between W1 and W2 for the first sample. Similarly, the other three. See the difference. If the difference is very much greater, then we can understand that there are the stone may not be used for construction purpose. See that the difference between both the weights of the same sample before and after should be little. You cannot have a greater difference in the weights. So before immediately coming to a conclusion, repeat this procedure at least for 5 times. Okay, so what will happen is, if crystallization of calcium sulfate in the pores of the stone will cause decaying of the stone due to weathering action. So remember, now if our stone is containing any calcium, and once you are immersing it in the sodium sulfate solution, they both react and they cause they form calcium sulfate. If this is within the limits, no issues. If it is greater, it will cause pores in the stone. It will indirectly decay your stone. So you can see in the diagram how pores are formed on the surface itself. So one has to note the difference, and if any notable difference is there, you have to stop using the stone. Next one is freezing and thawing test. So freezing is coming closer, thawing is expansion. So even if your stone has this unusual contraction and expansion property, obviously when it is used as a construction material, it will damage the structure. So one has to be very careful with this property. And for this, what we do is, you take a stone sample, you immerse it in water for 24 hours. Then you take out the sample, keep the sample in a freezing machine. So keep it in a freezing machine and see that the temperature of this freezing machine is around minus 12 degrees centigrade. And keep this in freezing machine at least for 24 hours. So I am repeating, take a stone sample, immerse it in water for 24 hours, then take it out, put it in a freezer, in a freezing machine whose temperature is minus 12 degrees centigrade, and put the same sample in the freezer for 24 hours again. Then take it out and leave it for the room temperature. So obviously when it is in the freezer, the temperature was minus 12 degrees centigrade. So when it came out, it is normal room temperature, right? So obviously it means that it is getting warmer. So also remember one more point, that this all should be done in a shade, means you have to do it in a room, etc. Why? Because when you do it in the sunlight, you may not exactly know the behavior of the stone. So do it in a room. Okay, so once you are leaving it to get warmed up into the atmospheric temperature, or atmospheric, it is room temperature, you can observe the behavior of the stone. So once it was in the freezer and how it is behaving, once it came out, how it is behaving, any change in the behavior, any shrinkage, any expansion, any color changes, etc., all you can note it down. Okay, so this is what we can do from a freezing and thawing test. So you can see in the diagram you have a freezer. Next comes hardness test. So what is this hardness test? Hardness is nothing but the resistance of a stone towards scratching effect. So for this hardness test, we will be using Doris testing machine. Okay, I'll show you the diagram. Right, that's the Doris testing machine. So for this, we will take a stone sample which is in the form of a cylinder. So our stone sample is cylindrical in shape, whose diameter is around 25 mm and height is also 25 mm. Okay, so what you do is, initially test take the weight of this cylindrical stone sample, which is 25 mm dia and height 25 mm. So let it be some W1. Okay, then you place this cylindrical stone sample in the Doris testing machine. So if you can observe my pointer here, so place the cylindrical sample here. Okay, then what you do is, you have a blue color hanger, this part is there, right? That is nothing but your, yeah, just a second, yeah. So you place the cylindrical stone sample here, then on this you apply the pressure, or nothing but the weight. You can see this blue color one, right? So if your stone sample is somewhere here like this, so if you try to place the sample in this way, in this form, on this you try to place the weight. So it is pressed with the pressure of 1250 grams, means this weight, the weight what you are able to observe here is around 1250 grams. Then what you have to do is, this the bigger one, the big circle what you can see here is called as annular steel disc. Okay, and now you set this disc on rotation. So when this disc is on rotation means obviously your sample is also on rotation. Okay, and the speed of this disc is around 28 revolutions per minute. So for 1 minute it revolutes or it rotates around 28 times. So now what you have to do is, now our disk is on rotation, our sample is also simultaneously rotating, and you start you sprinkle sand on the rotation. Means on your sample which is rotating, try to sprinkle sand which is very coarse in nature, not fine sand, coarse sand means rough sand. So like this what will happen is, uh, when it is rotating, pour the sand, keep sprinkling. After 100 revolutions, just imagine, after 100 revolutions, stop the machine and take out your specimen. And now take the weight of your specimen. Let it be W2 grams. What was W1 grams? Initial weight of the cylindrical stone sample. Now once you take out, let it be W2. Now determine the loss in weight. So how do you determine the loss in weight? W1 minus W2. So our coefficient of hardness is given by the formula 20 minus loss in weight, which is W1 minus W2 by 3. Right? Next is impact test. So for this impact test, we use Page impact testing machine. So impact means sudden loading. So what is this sudden loading? If any sudden load strikes your stone sample, that is called impact. So it will be for a very short duration of time, but its effect will be more. So you have to be sure if your stone is able to take this impact or not. Okay. So now what you have to do is, take the same cylindrical sample what we have used in our earlier hardness test. Take the same sample, I mean the same identical sample, not the same sample. The same identical sample means the same cylindrical sample whose dia is 25 mm and height is 25 mm. And then what you have to do is place this on the, so this cylindrical sample whatever you're taking, you will be placing it here. So you can see my cursor, right? So you'll have to place your cylindrical sample here, right? Then what we do is, in this testing machine, as I've told you, we are checking the resistance of the stone towards the impact loading, the sudden loading. So we'll take the help of the steel hammer, the blue color one what you're able to see, and the weight of this hammer is around 2 kgs. Okay, what we do is, once you keep your sample ready here and you fix it in position, we will release this hammer suddenly. So what will happen, this hammer will come and hit the, in this direction, your hammer will come and hit the stone sample. So if it comes and hits the stone sample, I mean once for the first time, note the value or take the blow as first blow. Similarly, I mean the height of the first blow also, the height whatever you are measuring, the height should be 1 centimeter. Similarly, when you are giving it the second time, see that you hit it at 2 centimeters, and for third blow 3 centimeters, and so on. And so what you do is, in the process of repeating the experiment, observe at which blow your stone is breaking. So the blow at which your stone or your stone specimen will break is noted as toughness index of the stone, right? So just after placing the cylindrical specimen here, release the hammer whose weight is around 2 kgs. Then see that the first blow height means the height between the hammer and the stone sample is around 1 centimeter. Then second blow is 2 centimeter, like that keep increasing, and then you make it to hit at which time, which blow it breaks, that will be the toughness index. Next is microscopic test. So one has to do this test with the help of microscope only. So whatever sample of stone you are using, just take it, keep it under a microscope, and then try to observe various properties like what is the grain size, what is the average grain size, what is the way of fissures, what is the way of cracks in that stone, how is there any different vein like structure inside, what are the number of pores, in the sense, is it a very porous or medium porous, like that. What minerals it is constituting of. Every stone will constitute with some minerals. So what is a number of minerals, or what are the different types of minerals available. Next, what is the nature of cementing metal? So which mineral in that stone is able to get cementitious property. Presence of any harmful substance. Are you able to see any organic matter or vegetative matter inside? And what is the texture? This all you can observe under the microscope, and hence it's called microscopic test. Next we have Smith test. This is very easy one. So what we do is, we just try to take out small chips or pieces of the stone sample, and then you try to place it in a glass tube. Fill the glass tube with water. I'm repeating, take some small chips of stones, put it in a glass tube, pour water into the glass tube, and continuously stir or mix it, this stones and your water continuously for 1 hour. And after 1 hour, see how the water is looking. If the water is becoming dirty, it means that your stone chips are containing some organic earthy matter, in the sense soil or mud, etc. If it is remaining clear, it means that your stone is very much durable and it is very free from any other organic matter. And the last one is water absorption test, which is one of the most important tests. So from this test we will try to know how much percentage is your stone absorbing the water. Okay, so first what you do is, take a stone sample in the form of a cube with the same size what you have taken earlier, 40 by 40 by 40, and see that its weight is around 50 grams. And if it is not around 50 grams, if you take the same cube size of 40 mm by 40 mm by 40 mm, just take its weight, initial weight. So it will be W1. Then you immerse this W1 cube in water for 24 hours continuously. Then take out after 24 hours. Just dry out the top surface with some cloth, and then take the weight, let it be W2. Then what you do is, suspend the cube freely in water and let its weight be W3. Means completely you have immersed for the first time, you have taken out, it is W2. Now just suspend freely, means allow to move in water, that is W, and then take it out for same for 24 hours, take it out, let it be W3. Then what you do is, again you boil the water and place the same cube in the boiling water for 5 hours. Then take it out, measure the weight as W4. So totally we have 4 steps. Initial weight of the stone sample is W1 grams. Then after 24 hours immersing in water, it is W2 grams. After 24 freely suspension, it is W3 grams. Then after placed in boiling water for 5 hours, it is W4 grams. So now let's see the formula for percentage of water absorption. So percentage water absorption by weight is given by the formula W2 minus W1 by W1 into 100. If you want by volume, it is W2 minus W1 by W2 minus W3 into 100. And specific gravity of the stone can be noted by the formula W1 by W2 minus W3. So right, so this is all about testing of stones. So I hope you understood the video. Thank you.